So, as many of my regulars will know, we play a lot of viewer submissions on this channel. In addition to playing specific decks that people send in, I also do what I call build-around submissions, where someone could submit a card or subset of cards and say, Jeff, build a deck, focus on these things, let's see how competitive we can try and make something. And this was a build-around submission for the Freljord landmark Howling Abyss here, which is a very powerful late-game card advantage engine. 7 mana landmark. So these are cards that take up your board space, but they don't attack, block, or take damage. And at the start of every round, it creates a random level 2 champion that's not in your deck, in your hand, that's not in your deck or in play. So, basically, the idea here is, I was looking at this, and this is the type of card that, against most other mid-range and control decks, Howling Abyss should, generally speaking, go over the top of whatever they're doing, so long as you can get to that late game portion of the game and be stabilized to get there. So what I've done here to pair with the Howling Abyss was, for starters, I felt like I wanted Targon to be my second region, because Divergent Paths helps us find Howling Abyss consistently, in addition to being a good answer to opposing landmarks. And then, once I was in Targon, I started asking myself, okay, what's one of the best ways to stunt opposing aggressive decks? And because my build around wasn't linked to a champion, I had a whole range of champions to pick from, and I think the Daybreak package with Leona is a really fantastic way to blunt the aggressive deck. So, not only is Leona a good rate as a 3-5 that's done something for a turn for 4, but, you know, we've got Solari Soldier and Shield Bearer, and, you know, even like Daylight Spear, Always Sunny, in Runeterra as a 5-5 for 5 is a pretty good rate. And then for my second champion, I also picked another anti-aggro champion. So we've got Braum here, who makes Poros and levels up into things that kill other stuff. And then we've got other good things that blunt aggro, like Tavern Keeper and Sentry and Guiding Touch and Omen Hawk, other low curve things. So the basic idea is Howling Abyss with Divergent Paths to find it consistently. Let's just go over the top of other things. And then we've built the rest of the deck in a way that will hopefully allow us to not die in the early game, so we can get to the point where our card advantage will let us win the games. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games here with this and see how it goes. Does the Mobilytics app work with the mobile version of Runeterra? So I don't use Mobilytics desktop app, so I'm not familiar with that. I don't believe their desktop app works on mobile. Mobilytics as a website can integrate with your Riot account, which lets you directly push things. I think I'm mulligan this. I have a 1, 2, 3 curve here already, which lets you push decks directly to your Runeterra client anywhere. But their mobile site, or their website, is different than their desktop client. Is an important thing to note. Able to get my first Radiant Guardian read yesterday. Man, did it feel good. I agree with your assessment that it's easy to snuff out and might not have a place in control decks like Lex Ash. Yeah, Disoriental. I don't know anything about this game, but my best friend, who is also a sub, says it slaps, so here I am to learn. What's going on, Joseph? So, my number one piece of advice, and the easiest way you could tell this advice is genuine, because I'm going to tell it basically tells you to turn off the stream or do something in addition to the stream. Definitely 10 out of 10, the best way to learn the basics to Runeterra is just play a little bit of it. So it's free to play to start, like all these games are, and their tutorial is very well done, and their tutorial contains a bunch of extra additional levels that are optional. So I recommend playing through the tutorial and playing through all the optional levels as well. They give you a really good rundown of how the turn structure works, the priority system, and all those things like that. Good evening, it's Jason. Then after you do that, feel free to pop on in and ask questions about specifics. We're always happy to help. Here, I have to decide. I think I want to play the Solari Shield Bearer. My opponent is an Avalanche deck, so they could play a Sweeper here when I do this, but I could do this plus this, and they get a decent attack in here, which is nice. DJ Squarespace, thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Remember, things can attack the turn you play them in this game, but if I play something out, then my opponent also gets a chance to play something out. Opponent is playing Trundle Oriental, and they just played Hatched Egg, to draw 2 different dragons. I feel like there's a good chance my opponent just drew Eclipse Dragon plus Orient Soul.
Welcome to the tipsy hour.
Alright, so again, I could have attacked with just Thieving out in a hit for 7. I played a unit, then they played a unit. I think I'm okay running any of my weaker things into this, because again, damage stays on units across turns in this game.
I've carved meat bigger than you.
We're giving up an Omen Hawk here to put a damage on here and put 7 on their face, which seems like a good exchange for us. How good is Braum with +2/+2, chat? Pretty good. See some folks in chat using the Vikings command. I've got a promo running with them. They're a PC and mobile game for the rest of the week until Sunday. If I manage to get 200 people that download the game using my link and play through the tutorial, I get a bit of a bonus on that. I appreciate everybody that takes a couple minutes out of their day in order to help me out with that. We played the game on stream earlier this week, Tuesday. That was yesterday. It was just yesterday, right? All the days blur together, chat. Is a Stream Decker a separate app, or did they build it into the game? The thing that lets you mouse over things is third party in this game. That being said, even though the deck tracker tool is third party in Runeterra, Riot is a real software company, and their client has a real API, so it's not just like reading out of a random text file that's generated like it happens in Magic Arena. There's real support for developers to do things around Runeterra. There's the Avalanche, we've been kind of worried about. That's fine. I think we just play It's Always Sunny here. It's a 6/6. So normally, Daybreak only triggers when it's played as your first card for the turn, but Always Sunny in Runeterra here says it's always day for you, which is nice. Except for when they silence him. That's fine, he's still a 5/5. Evening Beard Princess. Oh, and sorry, gameplay distracted my shilling. If we hit that goal for the Vikings game, Christy and I are going to be doing a Thanksgiving cooking stream the week of Thanksgiving here in the US. So yeah, so they played Eclipse Dragon, so that probably means we're getting Orient Soul next turn off the Dragon's Clutches like we talked about. What do you mean API? API, I forget exactly what it means, but basically it's an official way for third parties to interact with your software, is what it boils down to. I don't know which of these I want to generate here. Feel like we're in trouble here with Orient Soul coming down next turn. Application programming interface. There you go. There's the exact jargon. I suppose we could just do this into Howling Abyss. Is probably the line next turn. I think that's the line. So we get to bank the spell mana here. I'm gonna start the turn by attacking. Because again, I expect my opponent to have an Orient Soul here. So I want to try and prevent that. Want to attack before they play their giant 10/10. Just another Eclipse Dragon. Okay. Draw a landmark from my deck, and there's only one landmark in my deck, so we know what we're getting here. Yeah, basically, Claire. The API is what if you've used Mobilytics and you've linked your Riot account, you'll know there's a button on there that allows you to push a deck to your client right from their website, and the API is what makes that possible. Without an API, you can't have that kind of integration. This was the Howling Abyss build around Lampton. So when I do build around submissions, I rename them to whatever makes sense based on what the build around was. There's the Orient Soul we knew was coming.
The heavens diminish without my attention.
So I think I just play Garen here.
We fight for those who cannot.
Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, PZ. It's a lot of fun, I agree. So if I Innkeeper, I technically have them dead to open attacks, right?
Ravani, good times, good friends. What could be better?
My, how they stare.
That's really good, chat. So the problem here is if I play Ashe out and my opponent has another Orient Sol in their hand, Orient Sol is the Sky's Descent here, which is 2 cheaper for each dragon or celestial they have. So the Sky's Descent currently costs them 11, which they can play. I think I'm supposed to open attacks. It's close though. I think we're supposed to open. I think we're supposed to open attacks and hook Orient Sol with the Braum. This forces these to trade. Yeah, they're just dead. Okay, sweet. Yep. Wow. I wonder, like, their hand must just be a ton.
Is friends we made along the way.
Like, their deck just must be a ton of clunk, huh? Because, like, they had 11 mana. They had so many cards in their hand. Yeah, they were at 6. Like, they're dead to open attacks there, assuming they don't have Frostbites or healing. But, like, they had so many cards. It's like, we had Hearthstone lethal, but, like, usually there's interaction lurking. Oh, by the way, something if you're my regulars to look for, because I'm pretty sure it's something I'm going to end up doing at this point. I think so. Something I mentioned is I've been starting to... Okay, we're going to mulligan these two because they're not great against aggro. Looking for 1 and 2 drops. These are good 3/4s here. They're playing Draven Jinx, which is an aggressive deck. Fuzzy Jello, thanks for the 16 months. So... for the last few days, look at that, 2, 3, 4, 5, lovely. For the last couple of days, I've started posting slightly edited YouTube videos that are highlight videos that have just a deck tech and the best 2 to 3 games with a given deck. So that way there's like a less than half-hour video each day that's more consumable. And I think one of my goals for the next few months as I try to wrap up the year and expand doing more Runeterra stuff, I'm going to try and grow my YouTube presence a little bit, diversify those incomes. And I think I'm going to be starting a second channel with the express purpose of just posting the highlights on. So my existing YouTube channel will still stay and continue to have everything I stream cut up deck by deck, but I'm also going to start a second channel that will have higher quality, shorter content on it. I don't really want to trade Sentry for their 1/1 if I attack, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass here.
The party has arrived.
Man, if they have a vision here, we're going to be in a lot of trouble. Just super cuts to the kids on stream? Yeah, basically. So Draven creates a spinning axe, which lets them give something 1 extra attack, but they have to discard a card. Vision is a card that when they discard it, it gives all of their things +1 attack permanently. So we'll see how they want to attack here.
Time for the moneymakers.
That's pretty good too. So this lets them force something to challenge that. And then this gives it an attack, so we're taking 9 here. Gotta get rid of the Battlecaster. Because, makes all their things bigger. So now I have to decide, do I want to play Leona out, or do I want to... I think I want to play Leona out just because she's got a large booty. Her stun here isn't particularly useful, but there's a good chance my opponent next turn opens on attacks anyways. So I probably can't stun before they attack, so... we'll go ahead and attack here, because if they want to chump, that's fine. It's probably a 3-3-pointer. Yeah. Super dead division open attacks here.
I stand for
Noxus. Also not great against that. So this is super punishing for playing the Leona last turn. Hey, Bad 2, it did just pop up. Thanks for checking out the Vikings promo. I appreciate the support. Taking a couple minutes out of your day to do that. And someone else just did it as well on mobile. Thank you for that. Yeah, we're just super dead. I guess I do this and like hope to find a comment. Okay, we found a comment, but we're just gonna die to the rest of this, right? I guess I like block here, and we take 11. This is one more.
Try to leave it dead.
I believe we're dead. Well, like, the problem is, right, like, we're going to 2, so, like, even if we're not literally dead this turn, I'm not going to be able to get back in this game because they're playing, Noxious and Piltover, right? So they've got, like, Mystic Shots, so, like, I have to deal with this Overwhelm unit, and I have to not get burned out, and I have to deal with their wide boards, and there's too many facets going there. The fact that I could have played around Crowd Favorite there, and I didn't, and perhaps I should have. Crowd Favorite is a card that should have been on my mind for that matchup, and it just wasn't. Yeah, I just have a ton of reach. If I had played around Crowd Favorite and I had the cards to play around it there, we likely would have been okay that game. And I would have played around Crowd Favorite by simply not playing Leona out on my turn. Seems fine. Lead on Omenhawk here.
2, 3, 4.
Gonna get that bonus into our deck right away so we can draw cards with it sooner, hopefully. Hush, little Teemo, don't say a word. Daddy's gonna block you with his bird. The Rummage discarding double Scrap Scuttler there is real brutal. Yeah, right? And, like, that's a good example of, like, you know, like we've talked about, the Hush change wasn't a strict nerf, right? It was just a change.
Time for the main event.
I think this archetype that we played against twice now to start the night is easily the biggest winner of the Make It Rain nerf. Thank God this deck will be a real contender alongside the what's it called? Alongside the Pirate aggro decks for best aggro deck in the format. What did Hush look like before? It cost 3 mana and it made a copy of itself when you played it. That was fleeting.
Anything helps.
I would like to block.
Take a real close look at the action.
Believe or burn.
My voice.
I just go wide here. I'm gonna start by attacking.
Rules are made to be broken. Like buildings.
For people.
You should try blinking sometime.
Do I heal this? Is that crazy? I feel like that's not crazy.
Welcome to the tipsy hour.
I feel like having a 3/5 probably saves me more than 3 points of life.
See the Damascene border from here.
Close though. We're high-ish. Ish. Emphasis on the ish.
Let's talk about your tech.
So, this has quick attacks. They were trying to shoot this, so that way they would quick attack it down. They get to quick attack down my Innkeeper, but that's fine. I'm going to pass here, because again, these Daybreaks only trigger through the first card I play in a turn, so they're not currently Daybroken. I can bank this mana into spell mana.
Made to be broken. Like buildings. Or people.
You should try blinking sometime.
So I'm going to go ahead and lead on Solari Soldier here to trigger that Daybreak. That means this Shield Bearer will level this next turn. We're going to use this Meteor Shower to kill Jinx plus the Zonite Urchin. Really, really great mid-range tool, this one. Yeah, the unplayable one. $34 months? Well, I love Runeterra, love the content, and excuse me. And me and my girlfriend voted in our first election because the annoying orange needs to go. Thank you for the support, Baron. I really appreciate it. And thanks for participating in the electoral process for the first time. Hopefully we have lots of folks like you this year. Unfortunately, they got to level Jinx here with the Augmented Experimenter, but it is what it is. This is their second Jinx as well, though, so, like, if they're not really lucky, hopefully the third Jinx will be buried in their deck a little bit. If they're fortunate and their next Jinx is pretty high up in their deck, we're going to be in trouble if they play a third Jinx next turn. So, hoping to dodge that one.
My faith protects me.
Maybe this is wrong. Maybe I'm just supposed to, like, hope these are enough and play the Howling Abyss. How do they fit Teemo, Sub, and Draven? They only play 2 Dravens. They play 2 Dravens because they play a Draven's Champion or whatever it's called. Draven's biggest fan.
I'm on the verge of something. I wonder.
So they play 3 Jinx, 2 Draven, 1 Teemo.
Forward in the name of the Solari.
Just gonna go ahead and play 3-2 out here.
Work to do.
Look out for Reavers!
Fall, heretic. You cannot sway me.
Hopefully this is something castable that we draw here. Oh, I'm so dumb. My 4/4 should have gone here, and my 3/2 should have blocked here. I should still have a 4 power thing. The reason why I didn't make the good play is because I missed it.
Yours is the one true light.
Alright. Having an extra blocker is really relevant against the aggro deck, so we'll see if that comes back to bite us or not. They've drawn through an extra 6 cards now, so we'll see if they find their last jinx or not.
Let's take this outside.
Yeah, hopefully Howling Abyss. Like, we've stabilized into the mid game here, right? Like, we're still at 17, so hopefully this is gonna let us take over.
Time for the moneymakers.
Sure. So we get to draw 2 cards a turn, and every one of them's a level champion, so one of them's a level champion every time.
Now we're cooking. Watch and learn.
He is quick attack, yep. With lightning beams.
What's my name?
Alright. If we can dodge a jinx, if we can dodge a 3rd jinx, we can dodge a ball, chat. Go get him, Valor. Go get him.
Demacian needs heroes. Still heart.
This has Scout.
It's our time to shine,
So
Valor.
there's Valor. Hook that. Is this 9/9 good? If so, please explain.
My blade grows restless.
Cite your source, yep.
Death itself can't stop me.
Death itself can't stop me. Have some axes. You're dead. Like I said, we were able to dodge the 3rd jinx there. Ended up being real good for us. Twisted Fate Gangplank. Gangplank usually implies something more aggressive. Full mulligan here, looking for a curvy unit. It's fine. Not amazing, but fine. With like a hawk or what's it called on one.
My faith protects me.
New KDA board is sweet.
Get bloody, get paid. Burn away doubt. Devotion through battle.
Am I playing this turn?
Burn away
Probably
doubt.
not.
Ooh, got some fight in ya.
Nothing like the stink of blood and sweat.
Alright, now I am. I think I want to try and be wide enough. I think I want to try and have a blocker to deny them plunder next turn. At least plunder cards for a deco. We spew the 3 heal, but we get resource efficiency out of it, which is nice.
I'm not greedy. My friends, though.
The power of the immortal sun. Bask in the light's radiance.
Raise your weapon, Sunwood.
This is 1 off of Daybreak, leveling up. Probably want to Braum here and then get in.
Neither the flames nor the depths can claim me, Captain.
Well,
How can Brom help?
how can
Tell
Braum
no one about
help?
your door again. My shield is my slot. This is fun, yes? Have you met my
I'm
shield?
gonna pull this one to get my thing, just in case they have a way to deal some damage to this. They're noxious. Death Sand still gets him here. That's unfortunate. I get a aura out of it at least still, because he survived damage the first time. So. I appreciate that we get different sounds on our boards. Do you open attacks so you can get in with your 5/5 before I deploy something? That's got to be the question on their mind. Because if they don't open on attacks, I get to deploy something with Daybreak, which levels up Leona.
Bless the faithful and fear the heretics.
Unyielding light. Behold the divine power of
The answer to getting better in deck building in Runeterra is the same as all card games. If you have to ask the question, how do you get better at deck building, don't start with deck building. You should start by taking decks that are established good decks that other people have built, and then work on those and try and understand why the person who put that deck together elected to make the choices that they did while building that deck. Okay, so here's a question. Do I want to cast Leona's Morning Light as Fog here? Is that a good play? Probably not. Other than Gangplank, I like have decent blocks, and this blocks into Gangplank. Okay, so I think I'm just passing. Actually, maybe I'm just gonna Divergent Pass and draw a landmark here. I don't think I need both of these up. We're only on 1 mana. Lacarp, thanks for the 17 months. I appreciate the very generous tier 2. Welcome back. Opponent also concludes they don't have great attacks on that board. Alright, and now do I just take the opportunity to get aggressive here? I could play Howling Abyss, or I could Morning Light, which would stun 2 things with her. We'd go stun, stun, and then I'd have a bunch of chunky monsters. Yeah, I think I like Morning Lighting too. So they'll put 2 of her triggers on the stack. Because her text says whenever you Daybreak, stun something, and then this says trigger the Daybreak of everything you have in play, so it triggers her again, because it's also her Daybreak ability. My monsters are large, and they're very in charge, chat.
Solari control all the warm touches.
Okay, you have a 5/5. You can trade with one of my 5/5s, but otherwise I got pretty good attacks here.
Ah, unbeliever!
Take it up with my friends.
We get to play Hawk this turn to continue to be very resource efficient.
The guilty were banned.
Opponent's got a lot of cards in their hand for the late game, but I've got an ARAM, which is pretty good for late game.
It's yours.
Probably Shark Cannon, sure. We're doing this to work towards leveling Gangplank since they have multiple. Also gives them that. That's a good draw. I can even do this with this.
They'll be blown in the water. Prepare the barrage.
Leona out here doing her best Matrix impersonation. So if I guiding touch this, he survives combat? He survives these shots? I think I want to do that. So I have the extra blocker. And then she can trade here, this can trade here. We take 7 down to 7. And then we get this going for next turn. They could theoretically burn my mana here, but their attacks are good. There's no way they're gonna do that.
Chase my shield.
Wow, this is great for us. Really surprised they didn't trade this here to get in 2 more points of damage. I feel like that's a huge win for the home team here. We just want to draw cards that heal us at this point.
How can Brom help? Ooh, tell the one about your door again.
Basically just trying to prevent ourselves from getting burned out at this point.
Stay safe, my friend.
Nice to meet you. Ah!
Trundle might be the best generation. Is that true? What are some other good ones in there too, right?
I'll knock 'em dead. Get ready for a beatdown.
Maybe Garen. Are there no champions that gain life? There might not be. You might be right. Just downloaded Runeterra and looking for a few different decks to try out. Any recommendations? I like mid-range / monster decks and Magic. I would recommend checking out the Scouts aggro deck. Would be my #1 recommendation. Scouts, Girl Scouts is a real good one. So this stuns this. Ash Sajani is a reasonable monster style deck as well. Yep, agree with that. Yeah, of course. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. We tell you to be quiet and we get in there. I think I'm just going to 7. So that way I can play out my stuff here. Like I could flash freeze to gain 2, but we have an Noxian Fervor here. Make it rain. Deal. That was the best possible outcome for us there. Make it rain, not hitting our dome is ideal. Every point of life total is critical from here on out. The calm before the screams. Oh, they have flock. That's really good. Down to 6. So that puts us dead to double Noxian Fervor at this point. Which is unfortunate. I don't think I want to play this out. That means they have another Make It Rain, probably. We'll see, there's a chance their deck is too controlling to play Noxian Fervor as well. Huh? Gosh, I think I lead on that, huh? Yep, yes we do.
Warms the heart and lights the way.
That's a good one. Thresh can't pull from hand. That's not true. Deck or hand.
Sunlight blinds.
That's true. Now he's not pulling from anywhere. This level's Gangplank, it's a little scary.
An assault and ride.
Sun sets.
Really good game here. Ton of back and forth.
Once was two, now is one.
Who's on top of the bounty board today?
Discipline and conviction.
So I'm attacking with this. Oh no, this attack is back save the 2. I was gonna say, if I attack with this, if they want to block this here, then they can't block this here, but they played the 2-3 out, so this is just bad. I guess this lets the 1-2 trade with this next turn in combat.
Fire beware!
I get to go up to 9 here, which means Gangplank's attack trigger isn't just lethal, but it's still not great for me. So if we don't get burned out here, Howling Abyss is going to give us the card advantage we need to win, but we could still get burned out.
I'm not greedy. My friends, though.
There's a chill in the air. Their bones will splinter. Hit 'em all! Nobody escapes.
The pillar doesn't block Gangplank. The pillar's vulnerable, so they just attack with something else and hook it.
Divine light shines within me.
This has been a sick game. ARAM, Howling Abyss has been really excellent.
Son of a...
So obviously I could have played out more units there before I attacked that turn, but I wanted to attack right away, so that way my opponent didn't have a chance to kill this before I attacked. That was sweet.
Put to rest.
I was wondering if I played Thresh with Leona. Yeah, we are not a Shadow Isles deck. Yeah, that game was phenomenal. Really, really good. Quality back and forth. But I'm playing Twisted Fate, Swain here, so very likely a mid-range deck top-ending the boat. They're on a boat. Mulligan the Abyss. The Abyss is a card I probably want on 7 here, but like, I have 3 of them, plus the card that draws a landmark. So I think I'm gonna mulligan everything but the Solari Soldier here, just hoping to curve out better. Yeah, this is pretty fine. We'd like a 3 to go 1, 2, 3, 4, but... just like we drew it up.
Faithful and sear the heretics.
I love this opponent is playing the same regions as our last game, but they're playing a totally different deck. Yeah, they even technically have champion overlap in their deck too, right? It's still just very different.
There's always fighting 8 on Pablo. Still be behind.
Let's go, Pablo. Put him up. Put your nukes up. I think I'm taking Meteor Shower as a just-in-case answer to Twisted Fate.
Bask in her radiant blessing.
Unchecked Twisted Fate is usually game-winning, so I think having an answer rolled up to that seems ideal. Could have played her leveled, but I think I want to save her for a turn she can be usefully stunning. I mean, you're always stunning Leona, but some turns it's more useful than others.
My spirit shines.
Maybe I think I'm just not supposed to attack there. Wait, did they just make it rain my Braum? Yes, please, thank you. Sure. I mean, like, they just spent 2 cards to kill my Braum, and he left a 3/3 behind, so, like, deal? Play a Swain. Thanks. Turn 5 leveled Swain is, like, pretty good.
Master
The dawn has arrived. With its light, the Solari will I am the bulwark against darkness. Behold the sun's holy light.
Bleed for Noxus.
Okay.
Bless the faithful and sear the heretics.
Seer the heretics. Hey, Mr. Reddish, thank you for the very generous biddies. I really appreciate that. Hope you're staying safe out there wherever you're at in the world. I think we're just going super wide here and smacking them for a bunch, right?
Leave your bags in the door.
Leave your bags at the door.
See the Demacian order.
This is 9, 13, 14, 15, 16. We're going to put you to 1. Red Rover, let Leona and friends come over. The mid-rangey beatdown part of this deck has been impressive in some of these games too. We've won a bunch with Howling Abyss, but...
They should thank
It's a sweet kind of like double angle pinch. Like we have this pressure they have to answer, but then we also have this card, which is just stellar.
Deal me in. Bleed for Noxus.
Pretty sure we just play It's Always Sunny here. Get our stun off.
Sunlight blinds.
Your deck runs landmark destruction sometimes. Yeah, that's another reason to not just jam the Howling Abyss there. Smack me for 2 here. That's an answer to a vote here if they have one. Yeah, I could see 2 Howling Abyss being right, especially considering we have paths to draw it. This deck was a build-around submission for Howling Abyss, so I always like to try and start with the full playset of whatever the build-around card is, generally speaking. But I think you're correct in your assessment that playing less of them could be appropriate.
Answer to me.
Is Yasuo Swain a thing? Yasuo's just kind of an underwhelming champion in general because he, often speaking, is not generally speaking, he is not. Oh, they were dead anyways, right? They were dead. They're dead anyways. They're going to 0.
Victory.
So they get to kill her, but they're dead to the overwhelm. Yeah, Yasuo really needs another card that pays off for stunning and recalling things is the issue. The problem with Yasuo decks is that in the games where you don't have Yasuo, you have a bunch of underpowered synergy cards that just aren't good enough. You just have a bunch of like stuns and stuff that just like aren't worth their card quality in general. Definitely mulliganing this in the aggro matchup. Rest of these all seem great there, right? Sure. Need a 2-drop. Got 2 draws to find one.
Raise your weapon, Sunward.
Raise your weapon, Sunward.
Follow the horizon.
And again, like, this is why the Runeterra resource system is just the best resource system I've ever played with. I don't have a play here on 2, but I don't just lose this mana either, right? Like, I'm not going to lose infinite tempo because I didn't have a play that turn.
The guilty were bad.
Yeah, something like Biggest Fan would be very good. Man, that's rough. Alright, glad we have Innkeeper. So we don't take damage from this turn, but
Come on in.
they keep this attack bonus permanently. Magic lands are perfect. Are you feeling lucky? No, I am not feeling lucky. In fact,
Time for talking to.
How about another round?
Ah, this is fun, yes?
this is fun. Yes.
It is easy, see?
Oh, you know what? I should have attacked with this, because if they blocked to try and trade, I could have hushed them. That was a mistake.
The dawn has arrived.
Get to stun this. Have we seen much Lee Sin since the patch? We have not played against any Lee Sin. There are also, like, there wasn't a lot of Lee Sin before the patch either. Like, the deck was not super popular.
Guess we're really doing this.
Face my shield.
Hey, Mr. Reddish, thank you for the sub gifty. I appreciate it. You're staying safe out there wherever you're at in the world.
Let's talk about your tab.
Let's talk about your tab. Braum is the hardest champion to level. I don't know about hardest. He's difficult. He's not easy to level. I think hardest might be a stretch though. Please hold for a moment while I level Braum.
Bless the faithful and
See ya, the heretics.
The people are my strength.
carry. To save her at least.
Everyone goes boom!
My shield is my sword. Good luck. Have fun. Look how
So,
we have
Jinx, when leveled, lets them draw an extra card each turn. And then, if they empty their hand, they get a Super Mega Death Rocket, which is not great for us. Jinx, however, does discourage them from opening on attacks, which means there's a good chance we could Morning Light to level this up and get some stuns going. I think I just played this. It levels her. This will die to this. This will make a new one. And then I could use this to open attacks next turn. And like, this is a 5/7. So like, they don't have good attacks this turn.
Noxian strength.
Say, what is that attack? It's like the ending board state is me at 6, and this turns back into a 3.
Watch your step!
It's pretty good. So if they draw a burn spell here, we could die. This is gonna go ahead and stun these two, though. This might not be enough, because they're gonna have some jump blockers here. And I can't kill their Jinx inside of combat, unfortunately.
I stand for Noxus.
Feel the sun's glory.
We should be friends.
I want to just get this out of the way so they can't control my blocks next turn.
You must get by these first.
Oh, this means I don't get a Poro, though. Yeah, that's a little dumb. Oh, I'm gonna get a Poro when the rocket happens, though, right? It's a touch unfortunate that, I can't Howling Abyss here. There's a good chance we just die to her second missile next turn, though, too, so.
It is easy, see?
Evening Seagull. Trying to think of, like, a combination of cards they could have here that they can't cast. List is pretty small. They can just empty their hand. They get that Death Rocket.
And if it helps, stick your lip out.
Yeah, I mean, Jinx is probably, honestly, she's probably one of the most powerful level 2 champs in the games, the decks that play her, right? Like, her effect, like, drawing an extra card each turn, and she basically draws you 2 cards a turn, right? She dictates how you use it. Like, you have to empty your hand and then play the other one right away, but if you could use them, she gives you 2 extra cards per turn, one of which is guaranteed to be a rocket. That's pretty good. Is Diana? I think I'm kind of into this hand. It's got a good, reasonable curve. It's fantastic. Just what we ordered.
Can see the Demacian border from here. In Avarosa's name. Alert the village.
So this is vulnerable, so we can force it to block like we did there. It is elusive as well, though, so it's going to get to smack us for 2. Just want to continue curving out here. Technically spewing a point of life gain here, but that's pretty whatever. You heard the new pet tonight? We have not. By the way, speaking of new shiny things, in chat, we now have various size sea creature emotes. I tweeted these for depending on what tier sub you are. So everybody gets a minnow. There's dolphins for the tier 2s, and there's a new whale emote for the tier 3s. You should always use the currency from the top down, Thomp, so wild card, then shards, then coins, because wild cards are that's like the least flexible. It's basically the reasoning. Yes, and we do still have the blue whale and the gold whale for people that have cheered certain amounts of bits. So Glandia's got a couple different kinds of whales. Our whales are varied and powerful, chat.
Bad for the teeth, though.
Bad for the teeth, though.
Daylight breaks on the back.
So this stuns this, but this is gonna get to do its thing.
Come into the daylight, Diana. It was the Solari who tried to drive us into darkness.
Go, floaty crystals.
We're gonna prioritize. I guess if they have a Pale Cascade here, they could kill either of these. Bakadisa is, yeah, that'll do too.
I will be heard.
I've carved meat bigger than you.
Open your eyes.
She keeps both those modifiers. It's pretty scary. Feeling like we're in a bad spot.
Let's show our friends they don't.
Really use a Hush. We start with this and make our Poro.
Unseen, unheard, the new moon conceals you from our foes.
I think I'm just doing this and banking spell mana.
Milk, my friend. It is easy, see?
The problem here is I have to decide this turn, would I rather play ARAM or would I rather play Leona? I think I want to get ARAM down. They're putting so much elusive power into play here, though. Yeah, I actually liked Bastion a lot more than Hades Windowhead. It's got, the combat is very similar, but it's a little bit less, button mashy, is the way I would phrase it. And it's not, instead of being a roguelite where you repeat a lot, it's got, a set storyline. Well then, that's a real good one.
Stand behind Brom.
stand behind the Brom.
Let's talk about your tech. I'm back. Who's gonna close up?
Okay, so we take heart here so we can kill this next turn, right?
Pain is nothing. Attack!
Show me your best.
The moon is our queen. The night, her kingdom.
Okay, so this one's gonna survive. And Braum, maybe I'm supposed to order those in the other way so Braum levels up there.
Just pretend I'm not here, eh?
Forgive me.
Unfortunately, this is their highest attack one, so like if I Leona, this is what's getting stunned at the moment.
Face me, coward.
They're debating if they want to gem something again here, I think. The good news is we're not dead to what they have face up, so I get to Frostbite this and then Guiding Touch. Hopefully we find either another Frostbite or a Hush here. Tiebreakers on strongest are health and then cost, so that would stun Orange Man here. Yeah, I think we're dead now. I could draw Hush or Frostbite still. Really, really close game. Super unfortunate ending. And they just like, if this just like didn't have the 6 health or the 6 cost, this would stun.
Sun's light alone brings
Oh, I don't have Daybreak anymore.
Ours
That doesn't
is the
matter.
same light.
Very, very close. Needed a Hush or a Frostbite. Didn't get one.
The skies darken.
We've played the Intrigue Jinx deck with University. You can find it up on my YouTube channel and my website. I don't think it made the deck really meaningfully better. Ash Shijani. Room's probably bad here, huh? Ash to Johnny's like 5 power tribal, basically. Yeah, I think that's a good description. Like, it's good with Jinx, but that deck is good with Jinx, so like, having a card that makes your card that already wins you the game win you the game harder, like, isn't really a great sell.
They're out there. I'll spot them. Nothing escapes my watch.
Alright, I don't want to attack my 2-1 into their 1-1, so I'm just going to pass here.
Sharpen the blades, secure the kill.
So the kind of awkward part about that is if I want to play Solari Priestess, which I kind of do, it means I need to wait till post-combat, so I'm just going to go ahead and pass here. And if they want to not attack, I'm okay with that, I think.
Look out for reavers.
I'm just waiting to try and hit something else with this, that's fine.
Light the signal fires.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way.
Falling Comet sounds lovely. Solid answers to Johnny down the line.
Bless the people and fear the heretics.
Let's go white here a little bit. We'll go Soldier into Tavern Keeper.
I will unite the Freljord.
Welcome to the tipsy.
And this attack should be good for 6 here. I suppose they could have Brittle Steel, but that's definitely a card I'm willing to attack into. Brittle Steel's gonna get us at some point regardless. I think I just do this at this point so they can't get value with this wolf. This makes their attacks a lot less good. It's a lot of mana though.
I'll cut them apart. Face
Well,
me.
oh, they're just getting the free eats, sure.
Solari control all that her warmth touches.
Eclipse Dragon, not particularly useful in this deck.
On one arrow.
Let's take this outside.
The opponent has a Flash Freeze or another Ash here. They could eat this. Does not appear to be the case. I assume they're going to have a pretty decent open attack next turn. Yep, really decent open attacks. I get to Frostbite this, and then hook both of these over here. I take 6. Do I want to Flash Freeze this to keep Always Sunny alive? I feel like the answer is no.
Remember me.
This is probably bad to play out, actually. Because with Ash, I'm kind of incentivized to go wide as opposed to going tall.
Our sun will not set
Let's see what we
today.
get. That's terrible.
The War Mother will unite us all.
That's scary because it's bigger than ours. what if we just tried to, like, stun our way through their board this turn? I don't hate that.
Shine like the sun.
So we have It's Always Sunny and Runeterra in play. So Leona's gonna come into play, trigger her Daybreak, and stun something. And then I can play another Daybreak card and stun something else. They could have another fat monster to put into play though, and I can only stun one more thing is the problem with this plan.
Winter take you.
That's not great for us.
Unyielding light.
That's pretty good.
Took the bait.
Whew, that's a big boy. We attack here with the intention to flash freeze this if they block with it. Kind of want to use some of my mana this turn anyways. Evening Dude Light. Yeah, the tough part here is they just have really good open attacks, right?
Through waiting.
Oh, heretic!
Why didn't I Divergent Pass to prevent mana spewing there? That's a good thought. Yeah, I probably should have.
Trespassers!
It would put me 1 mana down this turn, but would 1 mana 11 versus 12 probably doesn't matter here. I could play an ARAM out here otherwise. Those are really not useful. Awkward. The Innkeepers plus the Frostbite might keep us alive next turn. It's not bad. Oh. Huh. Yeah, I was in complete defense mode and I just didn't even think about killing them. That's probably the line, right? It's got Spell Shield too. A big toe. Thanks for repping that, Prime. I appreciate the 15 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. RNGesus, take the wheel. That Twitch chat competitive advantage. Yeah, they have to have both their cards have to interact there. We have played Soraka Brown once in the past. It's a few cards off of the build we played previously, yes. You'd seen us play that one before. Chat found lethal, chat. Eclipse Dragon's not that useful. Eclipse Dragon had something to prove, right? Jinx Draven. I'm gonna mulligan these two, looking for a 2-drop to fill in the curve here, but this is good to start. Like I mentioned earlier in the stream tonight, I think with the nerf to Make It Rain, this deck is the biggest gain from that nerf. I think we're 1-1 against this side. I don't know, the record doesn't really matter.
Party has arrived.
Raise your weapon, Sunward.
They made Make It Rain cost 3 mana. know why the bot's not looking up Runeterra cards then. It must be bugged. Stupid MTG bot. Man, your stupid face. Are we gonna throw away your challenger for 2 points of damage here? Try putting on the KDA cards not being for purchase till November. I think that's a mistake. I think it's great that they're giving people the KDA cards for free with the pass, but I think it's bad that they're not just letting you craft them if you want to craft them. As a content creator, it's worse for content too.
Devotion to battle.
I've passed the feedback that I just gave you all along to Riot folks as well. So let them know that ideally I think their cards should be purchasable, craftable, whatever you want to call it, from the start. I think I'm just entering here.
These old eyes still see far and clear.
If they have a what's it called, the give everything one attack card, we're gonna be in a lot of trouble here.
Let's do this.
I feel like every time we're playing against this deck, those are the words that come out of my mouth. If they have vision, we're dead.
Time for the moneymakers.
Vision here gives them one attack permanently. It grants it when they discard it. Just get Braum going here.
Rules are made to be broken. Like buildings.
Or people.
You should try blinking something.
They want to trade any of these. Actually, I can safely hook her. No, I can't because of that. I say they're out of resources, but this is free. They want to trade any of these for this. That's a good exchange for me.
It is easy, see? Who's ready to reckon?
Fat bottom girls chat. Leona makes the rockin' world go round.
Sunlight blinds.
So I expect to see an attack with these two and probably throw this away for 2 points of damage. Would be my guess here. Depends on what their other cards are. Yeah, so. Oh. I get to level Jinx here too.
I'm on a roll.
God axes need victims.
Oh wow, these even crank Draven up to 7 here.
I will protect you.
No mercy for heretics.
We're going to 8, and they have 2 level champions. Things not looking good for the home team chat. This matchup does not seem good.
What's my name?
As always, if you have questions about what cards are currently in my deck, you can access the exact deck list in the on-stream overlay. You can also type !decks in chat to get a link to my Mobalytics page that I keep up to date. Meteor shower? Alright.
Daylight warms the heart and lights the way.
Dude Light, thanks for checking out the Viking sponsor. I appreciate that. You make number 110 out of 200. Creeping on up, slow and steady.
After the fight, kid.
Autographs after. Oh god.
The problem here is they get to empty their hand in response with the spinning axe, which lets them make a rocket.
Time for the moneymaker.
The Vikings promo is up until Sunday. So if you have a few minutes to spare to help me out before then. We might make it. A lot of people procrastinate, and they know if they have a little bit of time, they're gonna wait to do it at the last minute. Fingers crossed.
Unwavering strength.
I have a guarantee, but I get the same amount of money from 0 to 199 installs, and when I hit the 200, I get extra. So again, hooking that in there to just put more damage on him.
Watch and learn.
This is awesome. Face my shield.
This is a Mystic Shot that's gonna kill us. Do I get excited?
Raven out.
Unless your internet speed is really slow, I promise it takes a lot less than 15 minutes.
I'll spot him.
That was probably the best draw in my deck. Oh, they're just dead to opens here, huh?
Listen, be friends.
Again, so focused on, okay, how do I survive? It's like, oh wait, they're dead.
Daylight everlasting.
Yeah, the Leona chunks were really good. All things considered, this deck felt very reasonable. I think my one piece of commentary on this after the set was the suggestion someone had during that 3 Howling Abyss is probably too many. I think that's very accurate. This is a card that you really don't want to see until the mid to late game, so you're going to have time to draw it. And with playing 2 copies of Divergent Paths as well, we have a more virtual copies of Howling Abyss. So yeah, and you often don't want to see the second one. So I think you go down to 2, you still have 4 of them virtually. And honestly, a lot of those games, I was really looking to draw Hush. And like there were a number of games where like the last turn, if we would have found a Hush, we would have been okay and possibly killed them on the crackback. So that's probably just the third card you want. And having 3 Hush and 3 Flash Freeze, we didn't run into any Lee Sin in this set, but having access to 6 cards like that are very good in that matchup probably makes it very reasonable for us. So overall, I'm really genuinely surprised that there's not just an established good Leona deck in this format. Like, I feel like figuring out what are the other, 25 cards that go with the Daybreak package, there's got to be something here, because she's just so powerful, and the other cards you're pairing with her are just like really decent rate cards. Like, they're cards that you want to play because they're good cards in a lot of decks anyways, and then you pair them with her, who gets synergies from your cards that are otherwise still reasonable. So I think this seems like something, if you're looking to play Howling Abyss and you like Leona, this package seems very reasonable. You want to go to a 3-1 split. I think you want 2 Howling Abyss because, 1, I don't think there's any matchups where you really need to destroy landmarks that badly that you need access to 3 of that effect. And 2, in some of the matchups where Howling Abyss is really going to be good, there's a good chance they have landmark removal. So, like, for example, the Swain mid-range control decks are playing, not a lot of times not Noxian Fervor, but the new 3-mana Noxian Fervor one time or destroy a landmark. Some other of these decks play Divergent Paths. So yeah, I think you want the two of these because of that. Hey, Bruce by God, hope you had a great stream today. Thanks for the raid. We are just getting ready to start our second deck of the night here. Hope everybody's having a wonderful evening. We just wrapped up playing some Howling Abyss Braum Leona. We're actually going to pivot into playing a second Braum deck here this evening. We're going to play some Soraka Braum up next. Give me just a second. I want to get